we all acknowledge that it's important, but it's a certain point like, okay, but what are you doing about it? What are you proactively doing? Like, put your money where your mouth is. My name is Haley Fluke, and I'm the Patron Services Manager at Philadelphia Theater Company.
And I'm Amber. I'm the Institutional Giving Manager at Philadelphia Theater Company. Philadelphia Theater Company was founded in 1974, and we do exceptional theater. We like to foster connection and belonging, and we're really big on creating theatrical experiences that are of, by, and for the Philadelphia community. And the community that we serve is just at the pinnacle of what we produce on stage, and how we civically, try to make social awareness, impact, and change within Philadelphia area.
Outreach is a local organization that works on accessibility within the Philadelphia arts community. We've partnered with them before. We had a really great relationship with them during cost of living, managing with their work about sensitivity performances, particularly regarding people that are on the spectrum and other neurodivergent communities. So we were familiar with them from the past, and we really wanted to partner with them for this grant regarding accessibility in our front of house operations. So they were kind of our big core experts for our work for this. Cost of Living was a production that we did last season that really was surrounding accessibility and sort of caretaking and those who are being caretaken of. So it really brought accessibility to the forefront of our audience conversations, and it made us realize that accessibility was not only super critical to our programming, but also super critical in our front of house operations and the way that we see our space. So we partnered with Outreach, and they provided us with some incredible tools, some great video classes that everybody on front of house got to take and that everybody on the full-time staff got to have access to. They also provided us with this really great book called Demystifying Disability, which was a great read, highly recommend to anybody, and a number of other resources. And through that work, we managed to put together an accessibility handbook that now lives at our front of house station, and also run a 3-hour training session with all of our front of house employees. So we did that training, and now that handbook lives with us, and all of our front of house staff have been trained in it. It's available for all front of house moving forward. And we also put together a quick reference sheet for our volunteer core, whose orientation is a little bit shorter, so that they can really quickly reference all of these tools that we got from Outreach and a number of other sources. Like many theaters, our front of house team and our volunteer team change over time. There's turnover rate. We don't expect people to be with us forever, and what that means is that over the different generations, if you want to call them, of part-time staff and volunteer staff, information is lost. So for me, I felt accessibility training is A, absolutely critical, and B, I don't want to do this once and then have all of the information be lost the next time the staff turns over. So it was really critical to me that we do this training, because I think that front of house operations is first and foremost a warm and welcoming squad. And if you're not prioritizing accessibility work, you're not being warm and welcoming, you're not being inclusive, and that's what is so important to us. It was really important to me to have something that was enduring, that we could use over and over and over again with all of the different staff and volunteer members that come in through our doors. And also, I have been asked by several other theaters in the community, like, hey, you already did this work, can you share? And the answer is, of course we can. Like, this can give you a starting point. So the aim was to do something really critical for our staff and for our patrons, but also, like, share the change, like put it out into the community and make it something that's valuable for everybody.
It's imperative for us to do that to be able to then build that connection that's genuine and authentic with our community members.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And also just to say, like, a lot of the theaters in Philadelphia, like, we go to the accessibility cohort meeting, we go to the TRG conferences, we go to the Art Reach seminars. We all like have said that this is important. We all acknowledge that it's important, but it's a certain point like, okay, but what are you doing about it? What are you proactively doing? Like, you know, put your money where your mouth is. So it was important to me that like this project was us like, we're not only saying our mission, we're also like living our mission and doing our mission. So that was important too. I didn't want to just pay lip service to accessibility because it's too important to do that too, you know. So one of the great things about partnering with Artreach is that all of their resources are available to us for a year, and we do have the option to re-up next year. You know, we would have to foot the bill ourselves, but we do have these resources for a full year. So it gave everyone on staff some time to like watch these things at their own pace in their own time period. And then the training itself, it was 3 hours with the front of house staff and me going over all of the Artreach materials which they had already watched in advance, and all of the printed materials that we had put together. And then the other thing, and we tried to make it fun, you know, we make it a fun and festive sort of event. And then the other thing we did that was for me, probably the most enriching part of the training was we had a completely open-ended like conversation afterwards, where people could ask any questions in a curated, safe, non-judgmental space. Because one of the things that's true of our theater, and I think it's true of a lot of theaters, is that between your part-time staff and your employees and your volunteer staff, you have, you know, people as young as 16 and people as old as 89. There's a lot of generations in there. The thing that I really took away from the Artreach training, and the thing that I really tried to convey in our training, is like, education is not a weapon. Like there's nothing wrong with learning something new. It's not judgmental. It's not weaponized. Like, just, we are all learning. Learning is a thing that never stops. And don't feel bad if you don't know something. I don't know is a great answer to a question. But that's kind of what we did. It was sort of 3 steps: the training in the partnership with Artreach, the compilation of the handbook and the printed materials, and then the final training with the front of house staff. And then moving forward, the hope is that every single time we host 2 big front of house like meetups per year, one at the start of the season and one kind of after the Christmas break when we go into like the second half of the season. So the hope is to sort of repeat the training with the materials that we already have and do kind of a refresh, like just in case it's been a minute, here again, and then also bring on the new folks when we do that. That's the idea. So we're at a point where not every single volunteer has been through the materials yet, so we're still introducing them to something new. But for now, everybody's been really, really responsive, and we've gotten some really interesting questions about it. But so far, everyone's responses to the answers to their questions has been like, oh, that's interesting, I didn't know that. And so lots of on-the-go learning.
Yes, and the one-pager is super helpful.
Oh, it's great
for them. Yeah,
it's great. Kind of comprised of 3 parts. One is just a quick conversation about language, the way that we use language when we talk about disability. First of all, disabled and disability are not bad words. This is an all too common misconception. No, that's the right word to use. That's okay. And then also some conversation about person first versus identity first language, both of which are completely acceptable ways to talk about disability. It also runs through some like don'ts, like some antiquated language that you may have heard but is no longer appropriate to talk about disabled people. And then it goes through a little bit sort of the guidelines of the ADA regarding our space, what is required of this space and what needs to be maintained in our space in order for it to be ADA acceptable. And then it really goes into what we call a disability etiquette guide, which are just some basic do's and don'ts for how to interact with a disabled patron in like a customer service environment, what to do and what not to do. The Artreach folks were really, really helpful in helping us put that together, but it's basically just taking you through a walkthrough of the life of the purchasing and utilizing a ticket with a disabled patron, and some just basic guidelines that may seem common knowledge, but if you've never had to deal with it before, you might not know. So it's really customer focused in that way, that third part. This is the hardest thing about patron services, is that when something goes wrong, everybody notices, and when everything is going perfectly, no one notices. Yeah. So far, the feedback has kind of been everything's been going smoothly, which I'm taking as 2 thumbs way up. The feedback that we've been mostly seeing is from ushers and part-time staffers who aren't with us as frequently, just saying like, oh my goodness, thank you for this. I would not have known what to do in this situation, and now I do because of this work. And I think that it shows in that the patrons have been happy and everything is going smoothly.
I will say, for our reporting purposes, we do look at performance reports, we look at front of house reports, and they have been pretty great. There's a lot of examples of, should any individual have a problem, it's handled with care.
I'll also say, I think one of the things that we were really hoping to achieve with this grant, I think we have, is that people who belong to the disability community feel even more comfortable coming to the space and buying a ticket, knowing that they will be cared for. When we did Nightside Songs, we had this incredible group during our ASL interpretive performance of like these 10 women who were friends, and they were all just like hanging and vibing, and it was so like, I was like, oh, it's working, like it's so beautiful to see. Yeah. We hope to see, like, as this work continues to be implemented, we hope to make it clear that, hey, PTC is a place where you can come and see a show and you will be cared for, and to see, audiences really receptive to that. So that's what I hope.
As we continue through our accessibility initiatives, we really want, now that we feel confident in what we're doing, we want to bring it out and make the community aware of the work that's been done here, and do more community outreach, more marketing on our accessibility efforts, and just give ourselves like an elevated kind of approach to how we engage with individuals with disabilities, no matter how vast that they are.
Yeah. So. Carolina, our marketing director, and I have had individual meetings with all of our accessibility service providers. So that would be our audio description, our open caption, and our ASL interpretation, just to get kind of, because we want to solicit their expertise sort of first. So we've started having those conversations where we ask them sort of, what are your networks, and what seems like the best way to reach out, not as like just a cash grab, but as like a partnership, sort of where what feels right to you, how can we collaborate together, but we're making that a really important priority for next season. I'll say this Artreach video training is available for purchase. I think that if your theater has the means, I would highly recommend it to anyone. They're great videos, really easily digestible. It is an expense, so that is one of the barriers. And I would say if that's not within your means, there are a ton of free resources. The Spinal Cord Association has a really great booklet about do's and don'ts for disability etiquette. It's kind of a little bit more geared toward the retail space than theater spaces, but a lot of it applies when you're talking about just basic customer service. Again, this book, Demystifying Disability, costs $12 on Amazon. You can buy the audiobook, read it. It has lots and lots of really good information. And I would say, most importantly, just make it a priority in your organization. I know that we are all doing a million things. None of us have any money. But if there's anybody in your organization who is passionate about front of house operations, patron services, or accessibility in general, just like make it a priority. The accessibility cohort that's run through Theater Philadelphia is free. We meet on Mondays. You can belong to that chat group easily and connect to experts who can teach you more, and also see what solutions other theaters are coming to. If you're, for example, you're having trouble finding an audio describing technician, you don't know any, they all know someone knows somebody. So just like be invested in your community and make it a priority. Just try not to make it a rainy day project. You don't have to spend money in order to do it, although it really helps if you have money to do it.
Yeah.
But just make it a priority. Put your money where your mouth is, and just try and engage with your community because this stuff is important.
Regardless of financial constraints, I think we're all in a position right now, regardless of what kind of organization you are, you have financial constraints. And I think what is important to always take away is what is going to give your patrons, audience members, community members a better experience. So regardless of what those financial restraints may be, it's always worth it. It's always worth it.
Email us. We'll send stuff to you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Resources are meant to be shared.
Pay it forward.
Yeah.